Hello Ultra fans, Rustmarrow here, and today I've got some very exciting news to share with you guys. The next Ultra series and the very first Ultra series of the Reiwa Era has been announced, and it's going to be Ultraman Taiga, which is the story of the son of Ultraman Taro. So here's the poster, looking really badass I must say. Actually, just looking at this poster alone makes me really hyped up for this series cause, I mean, overall the main protagonist looks quite cool and Taiga looks pretty awesome as well with like his armor design and the way his helmet is like, has this additional design which sort of differentiates it from Taro. I like the addition of a bit of blue in there. And the series will start on the 6th of July. So let's take a look at the synopsis. There are aliens who live in secret on Earth. But this fact is hidden from the public, known only by a select group of people. In such a society, the protagonist Kudo Hiroyuki works as a member of the private security organization EGIS, pronounced Aegis. Now, that's a pretty nice play on words. And this organization handles alien incidents as part of its operations to protect the peace. However, there is a secret sleeping inside of Hiroyuki, one that even he is not aware of. The truth is, the light of Ultraman Taiga resides within him, and when Taiga resurrects from Hiroyuki's body, a new story shall begin. So that's pretty exciting. Now let's move on and take a look at the descriptions of the different Ultra heroes themselves. So this series is actually going to have 3 Ultras in total, and of course we are starting off with the main Ultra, Ultraman Taiga, the son of Ultraman Taro. Deep in his heart, he wants to be acknowledged by his father, but he's not very honest with himself. Passionate and with a strong sense of justice, he forms the Tri-Squad with Ultraman Titus and Ultraman Fuma. Though young and still inexperienced, he fights for the sake of peace in the universe. Together with Hiroyuki and their comrades, he shall walk the path to becoming a true Ultraman. So being the son of an Ultra brother, he has a very similar backstory to Zero, but I'm not sure what is the exact direction they are going to go with his age. Like, is he going to be similar in age to Zero in the original movie where Belial fought with Zero? Or is he going to be a more younger, even more experienced, like, kiddie Ultraman in that sense? Honestly, I have no particular preference, but I was just thinking it might be interesting if they make Taiga younger than Zero, and then the other 2 Ultras that he meets, Titus and Fuma, they can be a bit more like older or like adult Ultraman, and they can sort of guide him as he tries to figure out what kind of hero he wants to be. Next we have Ultraman Titus, and just personally speaking, I just really don't like this kind of buff Ultraman design, but that's just me. Which is why I kind of don't like Thunder Breaster a bit as well. The second Ultraman inside Hiroyuki, he comes from U40, a different Ultra planet from the Land of Light, and the same home planet as Ultraman Jonius, which appeared in the Ultraman anime. And I didn't watch it, so I have no idea what Jonius is like. But anyway, Titus is both a warrior and a sage. He is a fine Ultraman, well trained in both body and spirit. By fine here, they mean like he's a jolly fellow. And he specializes in heavyweight battles that allow him to make full use of his power, which makes sense. I mean, typically it just looks like Taiga's gonna be like the balance type, Titus is going to be the power type, and finally here we have Ultraman Fuma, who is going to be the speed type. I like Fuma better than Titus, but there's something about his design that kind of throws me off. I think it's the face, I just don't really like his face. Anyway, Fuma is the 3rd Ultraman inside Hiroyuki. He comes from planet U40, which is the planet where Orb, Rosso, and Blue gain their powers to become warriors of light. With nimble dexterity and mastery over various techniques, he specializes in tactics that rely on speed. He can be rude at times, but he has a strong sense of duty. I guess their color schemes kind of match as well, like Titus being the power type, he's mainly red, Fuma's mainly blue as the speed type, and Taiga kind of has a nice balance of both while being mainly silver. And here we have the villain of the series, Ultraman Toregia. So this evil Ultraman was also the same one who appeared in the Root movie. He used to be a close friend of Ultraman Taro in the Land of Light, but his heart was corrupted by darkness. As the villain of this series, he relentlessly targets Taiga. So to me, now that with his backstory and relationship with Taro established, he just seems like a sort of replacement for Belial since they got rid of Belial at the end of G, kind of, and personally I'm not expecting Belial to come back, so this is sort of like the replacement evil Ultra that got corrupted and used to be good. But like the iffy thing I find about his backstory is that I'm not sure how they can actually tie that into like previous media where Taro was a part of. Cause Belial fits in quite well because he was part of the Vanguard in Ultra Father's time, so that was like way long ago. That's why we didn't really see him appear, especially in his good form in any of the earlier series. But Toregia, if he's a good friend of Taro, you know, it's like kind of weird that we haven't seen him before at all in any form. Anyway, here we have the main character, Kudo Hiroyuki, 22 years old. A young man with a kind heart and a strong sense of justice. He is a member of the private security organization Aegis. As a child, he was attacked by an alien but was saved by the light of Ultraman Taiga, who coincidentally happened to reach Earth on that day, so that's why Taiga's light is like secretly inside of him. Since then, unknown to Hiroyuki, Taiga has resided inside his body. As the story progresses, he will also meet the Ultraman known as Titus and Fuma and become buddies with them. With a kind heart capable of accepting the unknown without fear, he will mature into a bridge between humans, aliens, and Ultraman. So, if you guys haven't watched it, this sort of backstory and the whole idea of this society where there are aliens living in secret with humans is actually very similar to the worldview of the Ultraman 2011 manga, which was recently turned into a Netflix 3D CG anime series, if that's the one that's more familiar with you guys. So I actually do kind of like this interesting dynamic and this like slight bringing in of a bit of sort of interspecies politics. I feel like if they manage to pull off the intricacies of such a situation and society well, and then bring it into the whole idea of trying to be an Ultraman and a hero in the story, I think it's actually going to turn out quite well because I am a very big fan of the Ultraman 2011 manga. It is really well written. So if they are actually going to use that as inspiration to do something similar but in a different direction for an actual Ultra Tokusatsu series, I'm all for that. And finally, the Henshin items. So first we have the Taiga Spark. By releasing the Ultra energy contained within, this item can connect bonds between humans and Ultraman. By reading the Ultra Taiga Accessories with the Taiga Spark, one can harness the powers of the heroes or kaijus sealed inside them. So this will be the scanning device, while the item to be scanned is known as the Ultra Taiga Accessory. So this is the replacement for our Ultra cards, G capsules, and root crystals. So the Ultra Taiga Accessories are items that have the powers of Ultra heroes or kaiju sealed within. And right off the bat, I must say that they look really cool and I think they might actually be worth collecting. There are various types from keychains to bracelets to rings, so this is why they are generally termed the accessories, because they can come in many different forms which are basically just accessory items. In order to transform, Hiroyuki will use the keychain type accessories as we see here of Taiga, Titus, and Fuma. So yes, if you haven't realized yet, there are not going to be 3 separate human hosts for the 3 Ultraman of this series. The main character Hiroyuki is going to have all 3 Ultraman, Taiga, Titus, and Fuma inhabiting his body inside him, and he'll be able to transform into any one of them depending on the accessory that he uses. So this is actually a first for the series, for a single human host character to have multiple Ultra personas inhabiting his body. I actually am quite a big fan of this approach, because typically what we have is that each Ultra gets their own personal human host, and in order to give that Ultra the versatility it needs in combat, it gains different forms such as like elemental changes as we saw in Ru, and the fusions that we saw in Orb and G. As for older series such as Higa, Dyna, and Cosmos, we just had like a different mode changes for each of the Ultras as well. But in this case, in the case of Ultraman Taiga this series, the mode changes are being replaced by just changing into a completely different Ultraman mechanic, which will probably have like a different personality and fighting style at play as well. So yes, I do like this mainly because it's a very fresh approach to the typical form changing and fusions that we've seen. So I'm really excited to see how they're actually going to execute this and how well it's actually going to be. But on a whole, the fact that Taiga is Taro-san is just enough to make me hyped up for the series, because I just like it whenever they tie back to the original timeline, because to me that's like the true timeline and they should continue building up on it in order to like continue the stories flowing down from that timeline, which is why I was really looking forward to Jeep, but then in the end got quite disappointed by the series. So I'm really hoping that Taiga can wow me as a series, and I do have quite high hopes because since this is going to be the first Ultra series of the Reiwa era, I think they have a bit more space to be creative and experimental, and even maybe change the style from like the recent childish style of Ultra series that we've been seeing as well. So I'm really looking forward to how it's going to turn out. Definitely looking forward to see the first quarter toy catalogs as well. So that'll be all for this news video. Are you guys hyped for Ultraman Taiga? If you are, or even if you're not, even if you're feeling iffy about it now, let me know how you feel about what's been revealed about the series so far in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, do like and subscribe for more Ultraman and Tokusatsu content in the future. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next Ultra video.
Red, red and blue, we'll never leave our bonds behind, leading the way, saving the day to the future.